Imagine having a quiet conversation with a friend about gender identity, and as a result, being handed a life sentence in an Indian prison. On March 28, 2026, that extreme scenario became a legal possibility. The Transgender Persons Amendment Act quietly received official presidential approval. Buried within this new legislation is a clause that carries up to a life sentence for anyone found guilty of coercing or alluring someone to be transgender. The legal danger here lies in the vocabulary. Words like alluring are completely undefined. Does answering a question about transition count as alluring? What about posting a supportive video online? The ambiguity creates an immediate, massive trap for any citizen discussing identity. The law targets the foundations of human connection, criminalizing empathy and the basic support systems that allow a community to survive. To understand the severity of this shift, we have to look back at the rights Indian citizens held before this amendment. In 2014, a landmark case known as NALSA versus the Union of India reached the country's highest judicial bench. The court delivered a ruling that set a global standard for human rights. The justices established the right to self-identification. A person could legally define their own gender without needing a medical diagnosis or government permission. The power dynamic was clear. Ultimate authority over gender identity rested entirely with the individual, stripping the state's power to categorize them. For over a decade, that ruling held self-determination as a constitutionally protected human right, shielding it from the reach of administrative discretion. The original laws drafted in 2019 left some room for interpretation, but the 2026 update removes all ambiguity by rewriting the rules entirely. On this timeline, you see the exact moment of fracture. The 2026 amendment explicitly crosses out the right to self-identification guaranteed by the Supreme Court. This triggers a constitutional crisis. Parliament passed a law that flatly ignores a direct mandate from the nation's highest court. The amendment serves as a targeted, systemic dismantling of a specific constitutional protection. By overriding the court, the state has actively used the legislative process to erase the legal existence and autonomy of an entire demographic. The reaction on the ground has been immediate. Citizens have flooded the streets in Delhi, Mumbai, and Pune, demanding the government stop medicalizing their identities. International organizations are documenting the fallout. Both Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch have publicly condemned the amendment, warning of severe human rights violations. Right now, India's transgender community is trapped in an impossible limbo. They are forced to choose between living authentically and facing aggressive legal retaliation from the government. And with that vague, alluring clause still active, anyone who advocates for their peers risks triggering a life-destroying prison sentence. It leaves us with a terrifying question. If the state possesses the legal power to erase your very identity with a single legislative vote, who actually owns it in the first place?